Social entrepreneurship and social enterprise organizations have become a lot more common over the past 10 to 20 years. But the model and concept of social enterprise continues to mystify a lot of people. So in this video, I'm going to share 8 updated 2023 examples of social enterprise organizations out there making an impact. I hope this inspires you. Welcome back. My name is Amber Melanie Smith, and I'm a nonprofit founder and executive director who makes these videos here on YouTube to help people learn about how they can make an impact, whether that's through nonprofits, social enterprise, socially conscious businesses, and more. As always, I hope that you find this video useful and inspiring, and don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. If you are in the process of starting a nonprofit, I have some resources and an online course training on how to do that on my website, foundertofulltime.com, so you can check that out too. A few years ago, I first talked about this by sharing 7 social enterprise examples to help people better understand how they work. So be sure to check out my original video on this topic over there. But as we all know, the world changes and sometimes changes quickly, and so there are lots of new examples to share to continue to get your creativity going and thinking about how you can apply this model to the work that you might want to do to make an impact in the world. To recap, let's just talk really quick about the concept of the social enterprise model. The idea here is that we're going to use a business or market-driven approach like selling goods or services to combat a specific social issue while generating sustainable revenue. Now, I get this question a lot, so I want to clarify that you can be either a for-profit business or a nonprofit organization and still use a social enterprise model either way. Social enterprise refers to the business model, not specifically a legal structure. So it's really flexible and it can be applied to various situations. Also, social enterprise models tend to rely more or possibly mostly, or even in some cases completely, on an earned income revenue stream versus charitable donations or grants. However, if you are a nonprofit organization and you have a social enterprise model within your nonprofit, you can still accept donations and apply for grants too. So coming right up, I'm going to share 8 updated examples of social enterprise organizations at work. And these are going to be a mix of for-profit and nonprofit examples. And for each one, I'll state which one that they are so that you can get a sense of how the model might be at play. All right, example number 1 is called Samaritan. This, from what I can tell, appears to be a for-profit model that is partnered with a non-profit organization, the Samaritan Capital Foundation. So this is an app, and it basically works to connect people who are experiencing homelessness with resources and funds to help them save up to meet basic needs or even save up enough to move into a permanent home. It's so cool that I actually downloaded it on my phone here, so I'll show you. It's pretty cool. I downloaded it and it's taking a second to load. But you can basically see the profiles of people who are currently experiencing poverty or homelessness and their specific needs and their updates about their life. And what I really like about it is it's intended to really make this issue human, right? If you're connected to someone who's currently experiencing homelessness on what feels like a social network, then you're going to hear their stories, you're going to connect to them as people, and hopefully you're going to be more inclined to offer them encouragement, support, or if you have the means, some kind of contribution to help them get on their feet. So very interesting concept here. In terms of how they generate revenue, they are partnering with different organizations to, from what I can tell, license and use the app. to get people connected to it. So that might be one of the ways that they're generating revenue. Second way it generates revenue is it does appear to take a small transaction fee from the donations that are made through the site. Totally understandable. They're probably paying a vendor to cover the cost of those transactions as well. So those are some of the ways that they're generating revenue, and they're opening up in different cities one at a time to sort of pilot test it. So go check them out, see if they're in your city. The second social enterprise example I'm going to share today is called First Step Staffing. They are a nonprofit organization, and they're like an alternative staffing agency that focuses on helping people experiencing homelessness and poverty to find jobs that can pay good wages. So they are providing job coaching, disability services, employment matching, transportation support for people who might not have a vehicle to get to a job until one of their clients can afford to get their own transportation. In terms of revenue, it's not 100% clear from their website how they're generating their social enterprise revenue, but their 990s revealed some program service fees that they're bringing in. And so my assumption is that similar to a typical staffing agency, they are charging employers some kind of fee to be providing that support of getting their open positions filled. So pretty interesting model, pretty successful, and they seem to be doing a lot of good work. The third social enterprise organization I'm going to share is called Transcend, and it is a for-profit business. And this is going to be kind of a new concept to a lot of people, so just bear with me as I try to explain this. But basically, this is a social enterprise that aims to reforest the planet by allowing people to be buried when they die in a way that allows a new young tree to thrive and flourish in connection with their burial site. So pretty interesting. There's, not that I'm part of this industry or world at all, but from what I can tell, kind of a lot of dialogue happening around how can we make death something that we're more comfortable as humans to talk about, and how can we reimagine, funerals and burial processes in a way that might help rejuvenate the planet at the same time. So I think that this is coming out of that movement. If you go to their website, they explain a little bit more about the actual processes that allow your body to support the tree. From what I understand, when you are buried, you are fitted with biodegradable materials that have a sort of reaction with the nutrients in the soil around you that allow the nutrients to get to the tree that is planted above you faster. So super interesting. The way it generates revenue is through the burial costs themselves, just like any funeral or burial service, you'd be paying someone to support those services. And also they seem to be accepting investments right now too. Okay, example number 4 is Communication Service for the Deaf. This is a nonprofit organization that has apparently several different enterprises that are part of it. This nonprofit organization's mission is to create a better world for deaf and hard of hearing people. They do this by working with businesses and organizations to make the workplace more inclusive for deaf and hard of hearing people. They also work to design technology solutions that increase accessibility for this group too. So how they generate revenue is they partner with businesses and employers it looks like they do some consulting to help make the workplace more accessible, and also through some of those technology solutions, perhaps the sale and revenue generated from those. The 5th example I'm going to share is Brave Souls. This Souls are spelled SOLES. This is a for-profit business that works to recycle tires into wearable shoes. So it has the eco-friendly mission aspect, but they also partner with and employ people from the Dominican Republic to create these shoes, and they ensure fair wages and benefits. Its revenue model is pretty simple. They're selling the shoes. So they're selling the shoes on their website. You can go get you a pair and check them out there. And so their dual mission is, of course, to ensure good employment conditions for the people that they're partnering with, and that environmentally friendly mission of recycling those pesky tires. The sixth example I'm going to share is called a Shakti.ism. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is a non-profit social enterprise, and their mission is to empower, train, and employ women in India, Bangladesh, Nepal, and other regions. So they'll sell the handmade craft items that these women are creating to generate the revenue and make sure that these women get fair wages. They also have another layer to their social impact in that they claim on their site, they plant a tree for every purchase. This seventh example you might have heard about because they've been kind of in the news a bit over the past couple of years, and it's GoldieBlox. This is a for-profit business social enterprise model, and their social mission is to inspire and introduce young girls to STEM, or science, technology, engineering, and math through their educational toys and kits that they sell on their website. So of course, as I said, their revenue is generated through the sale of these toys and kits on their website, and they're contributing all the while to their broader social mission of combating stereotypes in the science and technology fields and inspiring a new generation of innovators and inventors and scientists and mathematicians. Okay, the eighth and final example of a social enterprise I'm going to share today is called Dreamspring. This is a non-profit loan agency. Those exist. Here's one example. And their mission is to increase access to credit, make loans, and provide a community of support around small businesses and entrepreneurs so that, as the name suggests, they can make their dreams come to life. According to their website, they've already made over 42,000 loans in over 3,500 communities. And the way that they generate revenue is like a traditional loan service through interest and loans. And so they have a goal of making sure that those are very reasonable and affordable for these folks, of course, because we're talking about small businesses and entrepreneurs here. So that's, an example of taking a traditional business model and applying it to addressing a social issue, just like you would in a social enterprise. I'd love to hear from you now. What do you think of this social enterprise model? If you currently run a nonprofit, do you have some kind of social enterprise model as part of it already? Or if you're thinking of starting a nonprofit or starting a business, is this a model you would consider? Why or why not? Share in the comments below. And as I mentioned before, if you are thinking of starting a nonprofit, check out the resources on my website, foundertofulltime.com. They might be able to help you out. I also have a newsletter for changemakers and leaders in the community that you can subscribe to at the link below this video. I send out updates on sometimes funding opportunities, news in the sector, stuff like that. So check that out, subscribe, and you can opt out anytime you'd like. Finally, I have a Facebook group called Change the World or Bust that has thousands of people, I want to say 4,000-ish people from around the world at this point who are in there talking about how they're making an impact and how sharing their tips and advice for others in their position. So I encourage you to come check us out and join us there too. Once again, I'm Amber Melanie Smith, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.